in, as it were, in the narrative form. We ask you to follow it. I'm doing this now in Palm Sunday and Good Friday. And I think we should do this. And I want us, please, enter into this. I want us to sit down, but look, we're not going to do that. But I want you to pause at certain points. Let us enter into the experience, please. To begin with my altar service, right through this church. Listen to the word. Become one of the characters, if not all the, but really let the word say something to you this morning.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus came to a Samaritan town called Sychar, near the land that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Jacob's well is there, and Jesus, tired by the journey, sat straight down by the well. It was about the 6th hour. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her,
"Give me a drink."
His disciples had gone into the town to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him,
"What? You a Jew and you ask me, a Samaritan, for a drink? Jews, in fact, do not associate with Samaritans."
If you only knew what God is offering and who it is that is saying to you, "Give me a drink," you would have been the one to ask. And he would have given you living water.
You have no bucket, sir, and the well is deep. How could you get this living water? Are you a greater man than our father Jacob, who gave us this well and drank from it himself with his sons and his cattle?
Whoever drinks this water will get thirsty again. But anyone who drinks this water that I shall give will never be thirsty again. The water that I shall give will turn into a spring inside him, welling up to eternal life.
Sir, give me some of that water so that I may never get thirsty and never have to come here again to draw water.
Go and call your husband.
I have no husband.
What you're right, you know, to say, "I have no husband." For although you have had 5, the one you have now is not your husband.
You spoke the truth there. I see you are a prophet, sir. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, while you say that Jerusalem is the place where one ought to worship.
Believe me, woman, the hour is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we do know. For salvation comes from the Jews, but the hour will come, in fact it is here already, when true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. That is the kind of worship the Father wants. God is spirit, and those who worship must worship in spirit and truth.
I know that Messiah, that is Christ, is coming. And when he comes, he will tell us everything.
I, who am speaking to you, I am he.
At this point, his disciples returned and were surprised to find him speaking to a woman, though none of them asked, "What do you want from her?" or "Why are you talking to her?" The woman put down her water jar and hurried back to the town to tell the people.
Come and see a man who has told me everything I ever did. I wonder if he is the Christ.
This brought people out of the town, and they started walking towards him. Meanwhile, the disciples were urging him,
Rabbi, do have something to eat.
I have food to eat that you do not know about.
So the disciples asked one another,
Has someone been bringing him food?
but Jesus,
My food is to do the will of the one who sent me and to complete his work. Have you not got a saying, 4 months and then the harvest? Well, I tell you, look around you, look at the fields. Already they are quite ready for harvest. Already the reaper is being paid his wages. Already he's bringing in the grain for eternal life. And thus sower and reaper rejoice together. For here the proverb holds good. One sows, another reaps. I sent you to reap a harvest you had not worked for. Others worked for it, and you have come into the rewards of their toil.
many Samaritans of that town had believed in him on the strength of the woman's testimony when she said, "He told me all I have ever done." So when the Samaritans came up to him, they begged him to stay with them. He stayed for 2 days, and when he spoke to them, many more came to believe. And they said to the woman,
No, we no longer believe because of what you told us. We have heard him ourselves, and we know that he really is the Savior of the world.
The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
And young people, I wonder how Lent is going. Have you been keeping Lent? Remember I asked you to think of listen to your children. I want your attention, all of you. Have you thought about one thing that you're good at? One good thing. And are you working on improving that good thing? Please, if we're going to celebrate Easter properly, think of one thing that you're good at. I don't want to say the bad habits. We can deal with that another time. We're dealing with goodness. One good thing, and adults, you can do the same thing too if you want to. One thing you're good at, and you're going to improve on it. You're going to make it better, But that's your mess. I'm going to ask you again, and I'm going to be talking to you all individually as well. How, if you're for Lent, you have 3 more weeks. Is your Lent going? Are you observing Lent? If not, it's going to be just sheer ritual. I'm begging you, parents and grannies and so on, tell your child, ask your child, don't ask what it because that's child's private business, I don't want to tell you. But say to them, what is it? Are you doing the good thing? What is the good thing? And you try to improve on it. That's your message. This is the kind of worshiper the Father wants. When true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. Today begins what is called the ceremony of the catechumenate, where we are pointing towards the baptism of the newly converted people. Today and next Sunday and the following Sunday, the gospel comes from St. John, and all to do with baptism. And why? Because Easter, follow me carefully, Easter used to be the time that converts were baptized. So beginning today, you have what we call scrutinies. And it begins with the story of what we call the Samaritan woman. There were 2 no-nos in that experience of Jesus. Number 1, he is a rabbi, he's a teacher, and a woman comes to draw water, and he asks her, a woman, to give him some drink. The second no is that she was a Samaritan. As you heard in the gospel, Jews do not associate with Samaritans. Although they came from the same Abraham father, but that's another story for another occasion. And so, I got to get into that gospel. And so, here he is breaking protocol. The first thing, thank God he was not a member of Sacred Heart Church, because he would not be Jesus. He look for Paul and go to Paul. That's what will happen here. I take that what you always do, because that's not the practice. So he's speaking, he's asking, I want a drink. And she said, but you're a Jew, you're asking me for water? And what is he doing? Is she approaching her? Not, look, you Samaritan woman. No, they don't normally come there that time for water, and normally, and come unaccompanied either. And she doesn't say, but what are you doing here this time? No. Give me a drink. He's wooing her. He's not telling her, he's not saying, I'm the Messiah. I've come to save you, and you're going to get lost. And no. Give me a drink. He speaks to her from what she understands. And her response is, she's surprised. And they get into a dialogue. And the dialogue is so important. The dialogue, here would the dialogue be there, and we read the shortened form. It is the longer form, and it's a lot. Let me tell you remember, okay? The shortened, we can use the long or the shortened form. But in the longer form, there's a lot of talk. But the part is very important. They pick out the right path. So she said, listen, you don't realize I'm introducing you to a very important water, you know. That water you're coming for, you have to come to that all the time. But I have another water to offer you. And her response, okay, I want that water. You know, but he's gradually breaking into, he's not telling her what a wicked woman she is, that she had five husbands. Or go on the bed and go and see the priest first. No. Her first thing is, he's talking with her. He's dialoguing with her. And then she said, I want that water. And he said, all right, before you get that water, go and call your husband. Go and call your husband. He said, I have no husband. You know if Father Paul will tell you, you're a liar. Doesn't do that. No. You're right, you're right. You see what he's doing it? He's not embarrassing her. I want this to hear this because we have a nasty habit when people do stupidness to make them feel bad. You know what he's doing? He's trying everything in his power not to make her feel bad. I went to St. Patrick, just accuse me of that I'm all making excuses. Yes, because the object is not making people feel bad. The object is to bring people to understand that I need to sort my life out. Not to embarrass them or make them feel bad. She moves her. And she said, yes, you know, you have five husbands, no, you live with a man who's not yours. That, you know what that is? And then, as a result of that dialogue, you know what she does? She's smart. Typical Roman Catholic, you know why? Because she's not confronted. The truth is not facing her. So, I got stripped from that boy because that man knew about me, so I got to be careful. You know, tell me something. What about worship? You worship in Jerusalem. We worship in another place. How come? What does that mean? Again, doesn't say, lady, I talk about you and your bad life. Doesn't do that. He goes on that road too. He said, yes, and that's my text this morning. Yes, that is true, but the time will come and it's here already when true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. What is it to worship the Father in spirit and in truth? To worship the Father in spirit is to do more and to be more than coming here and singing, what we singing this morning, and singing, and that is more than that. Praise to the Lord. It's more than saying, I confess to Almighty God, blah, 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 blah. It's more than that. It's more than saying, I love you, Jesus, my love above all things. It's more than that. True worshippers. He said, the time will come and it's here already, when true worship will come to God and come to God in spirit. You see all of this here? This don't make sense, you know? It don't make sense unless it does something to it was inside here. This is just chair costume. This must lead, this must tell me something. It must say something to me. That's the worship feeling in truth. And she was doing that. I know what she did. She was doing that, you know. She was doing that because she was entering into dialogue. He embarrassed her. She didn't say, you know my business, you know my business, I go on. No, it's to work in the Spirit. It's to be there to say, look, just as I am without one plea. That's what she was saying. And in truth, it's to face the truth about ourselves. To come in here, and if we're miserable, to admit that we're miserable. If we are struggling with whatever sin it is, to admit that, don't come in and behave as if we're better than anybody else. No, no, no. To choose the truth, Jesus said, the truth will set us free. And my text this morning, this is the kind of worshiper the Father wants. God is spirit, and those who worship must worship in spirit and in truth. I ask us this morning, when we come to church on a Sunday, how do we worship? Is it we come because we get accustomed to come? Is that we come and say, oh, I'm not for one who will continue to and get back on the business of living? How do we come? And why do we come? To worship in spirit is to recognize I've come to encounter someone that I love. I come because my God wants me there. No, I do not admire you. I want to I want to give the example, not to admire me, because I have my 5 husbands. I mean, I'm a man, so I have my 5 wives, so don't admire me. Yesterday I had it was rough. And I didn't finish my, I tried to do my I do my night prayer. I sat down watching the television, and I fell asleep. I'm watching Romario, with this Oscar Romario, and I fell asleep. And then I said, Lord Jesus, I know to me, I'm going to church. Not tonight, Jesus. I ain't saying no night prayers. I can't. And you know I'm being good, Jesus. And as I climb the stairs, something he says, no, look how he helped you out today. And because of the love I felt in me, I went, if I fall asleep, because you're fault, you know, Jesus. But I went into the chapel. That's spirit, that's working spirit. That's what it means. I don't do it because I have to do it. I did it because I want to do it. And when you come to work, you don't come because you have to come. You come because you want to come, and you come to worship in spirit. You come to do more than just sing and pray and then go back out there and then go back. No, I come in spirit. And in truth, I come with who I am. Like that was the song that I know who I am, that lovely song. I come because I know who I am. I know who I am, have a lot of things to work on. I know who I am because of my 5 wives and the one I have now. That you know, you ladies, you know who your 5, you know. Please come before him and say, give me that water. Give me that water. And finally, baptism, connected to baptism, what happens there is that when we honestly meet Jesus as she did, when we allow him to open to us the truth about ourselves, and which we'll be like her. We'll go and tell people. The meaning of that mass is go to the masses. And they were saying, go out there and tell people to come and see, come and experience. That's what the master, when the deacon says, he says differently and so on different times, go in peace, glorify and all that. He's saying to us, go out there and tell people, come and see. And hopefully when they come, they will say, we came because you told us. But now we hear, and for ourselves we believe. Amen.
Amen.